If you've ever trusted the wrong people. If you've ever thought, my family would never do that to me. Then listen close. Because what happened to me started with fire, and ended with betrayal. I'm gonna say this straight, no sugarcoating. The night my apartment burned down wasn't the worst part. The worst part was what my parents said after. 3 words: cold, sharp, unforgettable. Not our problem. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the exact moment my life went up in flames. February 12th, 3:17 in the morning. That's the time my smoke alarm started screaming like it knew something I didn't. I woke up choking, not coughing, choking. The air tasted wrong, thick, bitter, chemical. My lungs burned before my brain even caught up. Fire, pure instinct took over. I didn't grab shoes, didn't grab clothes, didn't grab memories. I grabbed my phone and ran. The hallway outside my apartment looked like hell itself, black smoke rolling thick, orange light flickering from somewhere below. I slammed into the stairwell door so hard my shoulder screamed, then started running. 4 flights down. Each step felt like a gamble. Each breath felt like glass. By the time I burst out onto the sidewalk, the freezing February air hit me like a slap. I stood there shaking, barefoot in thin pajamas, staring up at my 4th-floor window. Flames were crawling out of it. That was my home. Unit 4B. 7 years of my life. A firefighter walked up to me, helmet still smoking. "Mom, is that your unit?" I nodded. He didn't hesitate. Didn't soften it. "I'm sorry, everything in there is gone." Gone. The word didn't land at first. Photos of my grandparents, gone. My college diploma, gone. My laptop with every project I'd ever worked on, gone. The guitar my stepdad gave me when I was 16, gone. I sank onto the curb, phone still clutched in my hand like it was the last thing I owned, because it was. The screen said 30:47 a.m. I scrolled to one contact without thinking. "Mom," because that's what you do when your life collapses. You call your parents. The phone rang, and rang, and rang. 8 rings. Finally clicked. Evelyn. Her voice was thick with sleep and irritation. "Do you know what time it is?" "Mom," I croaked. "There was a fire. My apartment." "Mom, I lost everything. I don't have anywhere to go." Silence. Then, "Oh, that was it. Just oh." I heard rustling. Then my stepfather's voice came on the line. "What's going on?" I told him everything. The smoke, the flames, standing outside with nothing. I was crying by then, couldn't stop. His response? Flat. Cold. Final. "This isn't our problem, Evelyn. You should have been more careful. You're an adult." Click. The line went dead. "No, are you hurt? No, come home. No, we love you. Just, not our problem." The sun started rising behind the smoke. Neighbors drifted back inside. Firefighters packed up. I stayed on that curb, and that's when a memory hit me so hard it made my stomach twist. My mother had been in my apartment 5 days earlier. First visit in 2 years. She'd shown up unannounced, walked through every room, touched things, asked questions, stayed way longer than she said she would. At the time, I thought it meant she cared. Now, wrapped in a stranger's blanket, watching my home turn to ash, I wondered why she really came. A coworker named Jason saved me that first week. Let me crash in his spare room. No questions, just coffee and kindness. 3 days later, I finally called my renter's insurance. That's when the guy on the phone, Greg, said something that made my blood run cold. "Ms. Carter, can you confirm your relationship with Richard and Patricia Carter?" "My parents," I said. "Why?" Silence. Then, "I think you need to come into our office. There's something you should see." That was the moment my gut screamed that the fire wasn't the end of this story. It was just the beginning. You ever get that feeling where your stomach drops before your brain understands why? That's how it felt walking into the insurance office the next morning. Not grief. Not shock. Instinct. Something was off, and whatever it was, it had teeth. The insurance office smelled like burnt coffee and bad news. One of those places where hope comes to die politely. Greg, the guy I'd spoken to on the phone, was waiting at the front desk. Early 30s, wire, rim glasses, the kind of face that looks apologetic even when delivering a punch to the gut. "Ms. Carter," he said softly. "I'm really sorry about what happened to you." I nodded. "You didn't ask me to come here for condolences." He swallowed and motioned me toward a small conference room. Please, sit. That's never a good sign. He slid a manila folder across the table. Before we start, he said carefully, I just need to confirm something. You recognize this policy? I flipped through it. My name, my address, my coverage. Everything looked normal, until the last page, beneficiary designation. I stared at it, Richard Carter, Patricia Carter. 100%. My hands went numb. That's a mistake, I said immediately. I never signed this. I would never sign this. Greg didn't argue. He just pointed to the bottom of the page. That's your signature. I looked. It did look like mine. Same slant. Same loops. But I knew, deep in my bones, I had never touched this paper. This change, Greg continued quietly, was submitted 6 months ago. 6 months. The room tilted, and the payout amount. He added, almost reluctantly. $150,000. 6 months ago, my parents had suddenly started asking questions about my finances. How much I paid in rent. Whether I had insurance. If my job was stable. At the time, I thought it was concern. Now it felt like reconnaissance. Who submitted this? I asked. Greg hesitated. The form was delivered in person. In person. My voice cracked. Meaning someone walked in pretending to be me. Or claiming to act on your behalf. I pushed my chair back, breathing too fast now. That's fraud. Yes, he said gently. It is. Greg closed the folder. There's something else, he said. A fire investigator contacted us this morning. My heart slammed into my ribs. Why would a fire investigator care about my insurance paperwork? He met my eyes. Because, he said, they don't believe the fire was accidental. I left the office in a fog. Jason was waiting outside in his car. One look at my face and he knew. Talk to me. I told him everything. The forged signature, the payout, the timing. He didn't interrupt once. Then he said something that hit harder than the fire itself. Who had access to your apartment? I didn't answer right away. Because I already knew. My mother, 5 days before the fire. First visit in 2 years. She'd shown up smiling, hugged me, said she missed me, walked through every room, stayed way too long, and now, 6 months after changing my insurance beneficiaries, my apartment just happened to burn down. Coincidence stopped being an option. The fire investigator met me later that day at a coffee shop. Marcus Webb, weathered face, sharp eyes. No nonsense. He didn't waste time. I've been doing this for over 20 years, he said. And I don't think your fire was an accident. He pulled out photos. My bedroom. Blackened. Destroyed. The point of origin was near an outlet, he explained. But there's no electrical failure. No surge. No damaged wiring. So what does that mean? I asked. It means someone helped the fire. My coffee went cold in my hands. Marcus leaned forward. I need you to think carefully. Who had access to your apartment the week before the fire? I swallowed. My mother, I said. He didn't react, didn't flinch, just nodded, slowly. That matches our records, he said. My breath caught. Your building uses electronic locks. They log entries. Only 2 people accessed your unit that week. He looked at me. You, and a woman matching your mother's description. That night, I called my mom. Kept it casual. Hey mom, quick question. Did you notice anything weird in my apartment when you visited? The investigator keeps asking. Her tone changed instantly. Investigator, she snapped. Why would they investigate? They think the fire might not have been an accident. Silence. Then. Don't talk to them without a lawyer, she said sharply. They twist things. Why would I need a lawyer? I asked. I'm the victim. I'm just trying to protect you, she said. But she wasn't. She was protecting herself. After we hung up, my hands stopped shaking. That's when I knew. Grief was still there. Loss was still there. But something new had joined them. Clarity. Someone had forged my name, changed my insurance, entered my apartment, and set my life on fire. And now they were trying to make sure I stayed quiet. You ever notice how guilty people don't panic right away? They prepare. That's what my mother did next. She didn't run. She didn't confess. She didn't disappear. She tried to erase me. The next morning, my phone rang at 8:12 a.m. Caller ID Aunt Margaret. Normally, I'd smile seeing her name. She was the nice one. The birthday card aunt. Are you eating enough? Aunt. But the moment she spoke, I knew something was wrong. Honey. Her voice was soft. Too soft. Your mom called me last night. My spine stiffened. What did she say? A pause, careful, measured. She's really worried about you. Worried about what? I asked. Another pause. Well, she said you've been under a lot of stress since the fire, that you've been saying things. Saying what? I pressed. Margaret lowered her voice like someone might overhear. Accusing her. About the fire, my blood went cold. I haven't told anyone that. I know, sweetheart, she said quickly. But trauma does things to people. Losing everything like that, anyone could struggle. Struggle. That's the word they use when they don't want to say unstable. Margaret continued, hesitant. She's worried you might be having some kind of breakdown. There it was. Breakdown. Not investigation. Not evidence. Not questions. Just me being unstable. She didn't email the family, did she? I asked. Silence. That told me everything. After we hung up, I checked my inbox. That's when I saw it. Subject line. Your GHR request sent 2 days earlier. I opened it. We received an anonymous call expressing concern about your mental state following recent personal trauma. Anonymous. Sure. We'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss your current fitness for work. I stared at the screen. She wasn't just trying to steal money, she was trying to destroy my credibility. If I talked, I was unstable. If I accused her, trauma response. If I fought back, breakdown. She was poisoning the well before I could speak. Marcus didn't sugarcoat it when I showed him the email. That's a bold move, he said. Discrediting you early. What does that mean? It means she's scared. He leaned back. And people like her don't make moves like this unless they know they're guilty. That's when something clicked. My building, I said slowly. They installed new security cameras 2 months ago. Marcus was already dialing. What's your building manager's name? 20 minutes later, we were in a cramped office watching security footage. There, the manager said. February 7th. I leaned forward. That was my mother, walking down the hallway toward my apartment. She was carrying a large black bag, big enough to hold tools. Or chemicals. Timestamp 2:07 p.m. The footage skipped forward. She walked out at 5:12 p.m. 3 hours. She'd told me she stayed 30 minutes. But that wasn't the worst part. Ruined, I said. The bag. We watched again. She walked in with the bag. She walked out without it. My mouth went dry. She left it in my apartment, I whispered. Marcus nodded. That bag matters. Diana Reeves didn't waste time pretending this was okay. This signature, she said, holding the insurance form up to the light. It's forged. I exhaled hard. You're sure? Very? She said. Hesitation marks. Real signatures flow. Forgeries hesitate. Hope flickered. But that's not the best part, she continued. This form wasn't mailed. It was submitted in person. Meaning someone walked into the insurance office, pretending to be me, or speaking for me. She slid another document across the desk. The clerk remembers her. My pulse spiked. Middle-aged woman. Brown hair. Strong perfume. Said she was helping her busy daughter. I didn't need a lineup. I knew. 3 days later, my mother called. Her voice was honey, sweet. Carefully warm. Evelyn, sweetheart, the family's been worried about you. I'm hosting a little gathering this Sunday. Just support. Love. Support. Translation witnesses. Everyone will be there. She added. Aunt Margaret. Uncle Thomas. The cousins. I almost laughed. She wasn't scared anymore. She thought she'd won. I'll be there, I said. Her pause was just a fraction too long. Oh, she said. That's wonderful. I hung up and immediately called Marcus. She's staging an intervention, I said. To make me look unstable. Don't confront her yet, he warned. We're close. I won't, I said. But I will let her talk. Because the more she performed, the more people would remember her words when the truth dropped. You ever walk into a room and instantly know you're the problem? Even though you didn't do anything wrong, that's what it felt like pulling up to my parents' house that Sunday afternoon. Same white siding. Perfect lawn. American flag hanging just right. From the outside, it looked like the kind of place where nothing bad ever happens. That should have been my first warning. I parked on the street and just sat there for a moment. 15 cars lined the driveway. 15 people who'd known me my whole life. 15 people my mother had already talked to. This wasn't a gathering. It was a trial. And I was walking in as the defendant. The door opened before I even knocked. My mother stood there in a cream blouse and pearl earrings, concern painted perfectly across her face. "Evelyn," she said loudly, loud enough for everyone inside to hear. "My poor baby." She hugged me tight. Too tight, too long. "I've been so worried about you." Over her shoulder, I saw them watching. Aunt Margaret, Uncle Thomas, my cousins, all of them wearing the same look, careful pity. She guided me into the living room like I might shatter. The room went quiet. Every conversation stopped. Every eye turned toward me. "This is a safe space," my mother said gently. "Everyone's here because they love you." I knew that tone. She used it when I was a kid. Right before I got blamed for something she'd done. Aunt Margaret approached first, taking my hands. "Honey, your mom told us what you've been going through." I nodded. "Losing everything like that," Uncle Thomas added, shaking his head. "Anyone would struggle." "Have you thought about talking to someone?" my cousin Michelle asked. "Like, professionally?" There it was. Not "are you okay?" Not "what happened?" Just gentle ways of saying "we don't believe you." Once everyone had drinks in hand, my mother cleared her throat. The room hushed. "I just want to thank you all for coming," she said, voice trembling. "As you know, Evelyn's been through something terrible." Murmurs of agreement. "But," she continued, dabbing at her eyes, "there's something we need to talk about." I stayed silent. Let her dig. "My daughter has been saying some very troubling things lately." The room shifted. "About me," she said softly. "About her father, about the fire." Gasps. Richard stepped forward, hand on her shoulder. "We love Evelyn," he said flatly. "But we can't enable delusions." There it was, delusions. The final nail. All eyes turned to me. For anger. For proof that I'd snapped. I gave them none. I just stood there. Calm, still. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text. "Marcus got the full footage. You need to see this now." "Excuse me," I said evenly. "I need some air." My mother froze. "Evelyn," I didn't wait. I walked out the front door. Left her standing there mid-performance. Left 15 people wondering what just happened. Marcus was parked 2 houses down. I slid into the passenger seat. He handed me his phone. "Watch." I watched my mother walk down my apartment hallway, black bag in hand. Time stamps. Angles. Clear as day. She told everyone 30 minutes, Marcus said. She was there 3 hours. He swiped. Another image. Charred plastic. Melted wires. "A digital outlet timer," he said. "Found near the fire's origin." My stomach dropped. Then another clip. Security footage from a hardware store. Cash purchase. 8 days before the fire. The woman in the video had my mother's walk, her purse, her posture. "That's her," I whispered. My phone buzzed again. "Diana." She was identified, she said. Photo lineup. No hesitation. The clerk recognized her perfume. I closed my eyes. This was it. The moment everything turned. Marcus checked his watch. "I've got 2 officers on the way," he said. "Warrant was signed this morning." My heart pounded. What do I do? He met my eyes. "Go back inside. Let her keep talking." You ever notice how confident liars get when they think they've won? That's the version of my mother I walked back in on, relaxed, centered, certain. She had no idea the clock was already ticking. The living room went quiet the second I stepped back inside. All 15 heads turned. My mother's face softened instantly, like she'd practiced this moment in the mirror. "There you are," she said gently. We were getting worried. I looked around the room. Same faces. Same pity. Same assumption. They'd already decided who was telling the truth. So I didn't argue. I asked questions. "Mom," I said calmly, "when you visited my apartment last month, how long were you there?" She blinked. "Oh, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour." I nodded. "The building has cameras," I said. "They show you were there for 3 hours." The air shifted. Richard straightened. "That's ridiculous," he snapped. "You're embarrassing yourself." I didn't look at him. "And the bag you brought," I continued. The large black one. My mother's smile tightened. What bag? The one you walked in with, I said. But didn't walk out with. Silence. Real silence this time. I don't know what you're talking about, my mother said sharply. This is exactly what I meant. She's confused. Marcus was right. She wasn't scared. She was angry. Angry that I wasn't playing my role. The fire investigators are very interested in that bag, I added. Aunt Margaret gasped softly. What investigators? She asked. My mother turned on her. This is nonsense, she snapped. Evelyn's been filling her head with garbage from strangers. Strangers. Right. Then it happened. Richard's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. His face drained of color. My mother's phone buzzed at the same time. They locked eyes. I didn't need to see the screens. I already knew. The doorbell rang. Uncle Thomas, closest to the door, opened it without thinking. Marcus Webb stepped inside. Badge visible. Voice steady. Patricia Carter, he said. You're under arrest for arson and insurance fraud. The room exploded. What? My mother shrieked. This is insane. Marcus took her arm. You have the right to remain silent. She did this. My mother screamed, pointing at me. She's unstable. She planned this. The handcuffs clicked shut. That sound. I'll never forget it. Richard tried to move toward her. The second officer blocked him. Mr. Carter, he said, we need to speak with you as well. Richard cracked. It was her idea, he blurted. I didn't want to. Set up he. My mother screamed. Too late, everyone heard. Every single word. They led her out past the family photos. Past the perfect living room. Past the people she'd convinced for years. She didn't look back at me. She didn't need to. We both knew. No one spoke after the door closed. The room felt smaller. Aunt Margaret sank into a chair, shaking. Oh my God, she whispered. I believed her. Uncle Thomas rubbed his face. I'm so sorry, he said to me. We should have listened. I nodded, but I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. One by one they came to me. Apologies, shock, regret. Whatever you need, Uncle Thomas said. We'll help. I believed him. But I also knew something had changed forever. I need time, I said quietly, to figure out who my real family is. No one argued. I walked outside. Cold air, clear sky. Marcus stood by his car. It's done, he said. No, I replied. It's just begun. Everyone thinks justice is loud. Sirens. Handcuffs. Courtrooms, but the real damage, that comes out quietly on paper. 2 days after the arrest, I sat across from my lawyer, Diana Reeves. No drama, no raised voices, just a thick stack of documents. This, she said, tapping the top page, is why she did it. I leaned forward. Richard's name was all over the paperwork. Credit lines, cash advances, private loans, a lot of them, gambling. Diana said flatly. High stakes, high interest, and very bad people on the other end. My chest tightened. How bad? She slid another page forward. $180,000. Minimum. I exhaled slowly. That explained the sudden concern about my finances. The questions. The timing. The desperation. She thought. Diana continued. That your insurance payout would fix everything. Richard's signed statement was next. I didn't want to read it. But I did. Patricia said Evelyn had good insurance. She said no one would get hurt. She said it would just be a fire. A fire. Like it's a small thing. Like people don't die that way. She didn't see you as her daughter in that moment. Diana said carefully. She saw a solution. I stared at the wall. All those years I thought her love was strict. It wasn't strict. It was conditional. Diana didn't sugarcoat the consequences. Arson in the 2nd degree, insurance fraud, forgery conspiracy. I swallowed. What does that mean for her? With a plea deal. 6 years. Without, possibly more. 6 years. My mother would age behind bars. Because she chose money over me. And Richard? I asked. He cooperated, Diana said. Fully? Of course he did. He's getting probation and mandatory addiction treatment. I nodded. That felt fitting. The insurance company reversed everything. Diana continued. You're the rightful beneficiary. She paused. $142,000 after fees. The number meant nothing. You can't buy memories back. You can't rebuy trust. 2 months later, a letter arrived. Return address State Women's Correctional Facility. My hands shook just holding it. I opened it. She wrote about desperation. About love. About still being my mother. She asked me to visit. I wrote a reply. Didn't mail it. Just wrote it. You were my mother. But a mother doesn't try to kill her child for money. I folded it, put it away, and blocked prison mail. I moved into a new apartment. Smaller, safer, mine. I bought a new guitar. Not the same, but close enough. I started therapy. Not to forgive, to heal. I sat in the courtroom and watched her in orange. No pearls. No performance. Just consequences. The judge's words were steady. 6 years. No one clapped. No one cheered. It wasn't victory, it was closure. Afterward, Diana asked me how I felt. I thought about it. Empty, I said. But free. She nodded. That's normal. Everyone thinks the story ends when the cuffs click. It doesn't. That's just when the noise stops. And the silence shows up. The morning after sentencing, I woke up in my new apartment and forgot, just for a second, what had happened. No sirens. No court dates. No adrenaline. Just quiet. And that's when it hit me. I was safey, but I was also alone in a way I'd never been before. Some relatives called more after the arrest. Others didn't. A few apologized. A few vanished. And I learned something no one teaches you. People don't disappear when you're wrong. They disappear when you're inconvenient. I stopped chasing closure from them. Jason stayed, never asked for repayment, never pushed for details, just showed up. Aunt Margaret tried too, awkward, guilt-heavy, sincere. I failed you, she said once over coffee. I shook my head. You believed who she showed you, I said. So did I. Therapy wasn't dramatic. No breakdowns, just uncomfortable honesty. Do you feel guilty? My therapist asked. Yes, I admitted, for surviving. She nodded. That's common when betrayal comes from family. That word again. Family. Family isn't blood. It's behavior. It's who protects you when things burn. It's who believes you when the lie is easier. I started building that family on purpose. The fire dreams came less often. The smoke stopped choking me awake. I slept through the night. That felt like victory. The fire didn't just take my things, it took illusions. The idea that love is automatic, that parents always choose their kids, that truth wins quickly. But it gave me something back. Clarity. Some nights, I played my new guitar. It didn't sound like the old one. But it sounded like survival. I realized something strange. The fire destroyed my past, but it saved my future. Blocking her letters wasn't hate. It was self-respect. Choosing peace isn't betrayal. It's survival. I'm not the girl who called her parents at 3:47 a.m. I'm the woman who trusted her instincts when everyone called her crazy. I'm stronger. Quieter. Clearer. If you're still here, I want you to hear this clearly. This story isn't about arson. It isn't about money. And it isn't even about betrayal. It's about waking up. We're raised to believe family means safety, that blood is protection, that parents are immune from becoming predators. That lie almost cost me my life. Fire doesn't discriminate. It burns lies first. It strips away masks, excuses, and carefully maintained images. And what it shows you underneath. That's the truth people were hoping you'd never see. My mother didn't fail because she went to prison. She failed the moment she decided money mattered more than her child's life. Prison was just the receipt. This is the hardest lesson I learned. You don't owe loyalty to people who would sacrifice you. Not for peace. Not for tradition. Not for appearances. If you're ever in a room where everyone doubts you, where the lie is louder than the truth, where standing still feels impossible, you're not crazy. You're early. My instincts whispered long before the fire. I ignored them because I wanted harmony. Now I know harmony without truth is just silence with a smile. I chose safety. I chose clarity. I chose a life where love isn't conditional. My apartment is quiet now. No smoke. No fear. No locked doors between truth and peace. Just space to breathe. If you're watching this and recognizing pieces of your own life, the manipulation, the gaslighting, the way truth makes people uncomfortable, listen to me. You are not the problem. You're allowed to save yourself. Even from family. Especially from family. Because someone out there needs permission to stop protecting people who never protected them. And if that someone is you, this is it. Fire took my past. but it gave me my future. And that trade, I'd make it again every time. If this story meant something to you, leave yes in the comments. If you know someone who needs this message, share it with them. And if you want more stories about survival, truth, and real strength, subscribe. I'm still standing. And if you're going through something like this, you will be too.